a huge misconception that recruiting waits until a student athlete gets to their junior year, or gets to their senior year, or when they register with the NCAA Eligibility Center. Yeah, we probably first have to take a step back and acknowledge that there is a recruiting process. It's not like high school sports. It's not where you just go to the school and you try out for the team. Very rarely are student athletes able to go to a university or go to a college and just try out for the team and join the team when they get there. So there is a recruiting process. When it starts, it's a kind of a difficult answer, but it starts early. It starts as early as freshman year. Some cases it starts as early as 7th and 8th grade. It starts long before college coaches ever start interacting with a specific student athlete. For most Division I schools, high-level programs, they start at a bare minimum identifying products or prospects a freshman year, in some cases a little bit younger than that, where they're just viewing their profile. They're checking out their highlight video. They're seeing where they're at this point. They're trying to get a baseline of where they're going to be looking at for like the 2026 class or the 2025 class right now. They want to build up a large recruiting list of student athletes that they can be using to narrow down over the next 3, 4, or 5 years worth of time. For student athletes, we definitely have to acknowledge that it starts whenever you start it. It starts when you start the recruiting process. You can start being proactive really anytime. There really aren't restrictions on student athletes and what you can be doing to get your information out in front of college coaches. So misconceptions is it starts junior, senior year, but really it starts pretty early, freshman year, some cases even earlier than that.
Even with our network, once you turn 13 years old, you're able to build a recruiting profile as a student athlete. So typically, the earlier you start the process, the better. The NCAA also does have in place a recruiting timeline that tells coaches when they can do certain things. So for Division III schools, for NAIA schools, for junior colleges, there's no restrictions, there's no limitations. It's really fair game throughout the recruiting process. But for Division I and Division II schools, they can send out pamphlets, they can send out questionnaires, generic letters, camp invites, really anytime the student athlete enters high school. And then they can't actually call a student athlete, until the summer, typically between their sophomore and junior year. But again, they're sending out information ahead of time, evaluating the athletes, identifying prospects. So it can really vary based on the college coach in the division level. Typically, the Division I schools are going to be much earlier with their identification and evaluation of athletes. Then D2s and D3s will follow after. But again, coaches, they're limited in terms of when and what they can do. So that sophomore, junior year, summer, when these coaches can start directly calling student athletes in most sports, it's not just all of a sudden these coaches are thinking, okay, well, I can start calling the 2025 class tomorrow, so let me start looking at some 2025 prospects. They're taking time to spend months and years, in some cases, building their recruiting list.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, and I know you did, click our logo so you can subscribe to our channel and check out the other videos on our page for all things recruiting.